Good afternoon, it's Seth at Houghton Lodge. Now what I've got here is when we did the gravel from the village up to the upper beat, we dug our lake out a little bit deeper, and at the end of the lake was this bump of nothing really that was just old stuff that we'd taken out of it at some point. Wasn't proper chalk or stone or anything like that, it was just a waste pile of soil. And I got the digger driver to create this sheer cliff face in the hope that we got something nesting in it like a sand martin or a kingfisher. And anyway, if you look at right in the middle of it, you can see that black dot, that's a kingfisher nest in the middle of it. And these are two jays that are trying to rob it of whatever's in it, be it eggs or chicks. Now, because of how the kingfisher builds its nest with a tunnel into a sheer cliff face and a nesting chamber at the end of it, these little birds can't get anywhere near it. Now, I know they're prettier jays with the lovely blue wing feathers, but they are absolutely horrible little creatures. They were discouraged strongly not to do this again when I'd taken this video, by the way. Now they're trying to get to it. They know the nest there because they've seen the kingfisher coming in and out, and they know it's there, but they're scrobbling about on that sheer face, round the edges and sliding down it. They can't quite get to that nest. There's nothing round it for them to perch on to start and burrow their way into it. And I say these things do eat absolutely anything. They'll go along a hedgerow and absolutely eat anything they come across, any little songbird nests. They'll eat the chicks, they'll eat the eggs, they aren't bothered. They're just horrible little creatures. So they're there at the moment, and I can't quite see it at the moment on this bit what I'm looking at, but the kingfisher does come back. And then you'll see him go into his nest when the jays bugger off and feed his chicks. And then when he leaves, he deposits something in the water, which I think is a pellet or something like that. Now, kingfishers produce a pellet like an owl because they can't digest the harder bits of the fish like the scales and the bones. So those jays have been trying for about 2 minutes now, 3 minutes since he last left to get into that nest, because they know where it is but they just can't quite get into it. And he's just sat there now on the bottom left somewhere. He's waiting for them to disappear before he goes into the feed his youngsters. I think this was the male kingfisher. I couldn't be 100% sure. I daren't get any closer because I didn't want to disturb the nest. But so he's sat waiting now because he don't want to go darting in amongst claws and beaks that might even attack him. So he's waiting for those to disappear off, and eventually they do, permanently at some point as well. So they disappear. He waits a minute or so before he goes into that nesting cavity, and then he's very quickly in and out. He doesn't want to be there longer than he has to be. He needs to be on the river catching fish to feed his family. So he darts into the nesting cavity. I think it's about now. So he darts in, he feeds the youngsters, and as he comes out, he deposits something in the water, which I think is a pellet from one of the chicks. So you should see that towards the end. There he comes, out he comes, splashes the water, depositing the pellet, and away he goes to catch some more fish, leaving that nesting chamber safe on that cliff face. Anyway, just a bit more about life here at Houghton Lodge. Thank you.